Unveiling the cutting edge, discovering the newest in tech. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for attending the panel. Some great panelists with me today. During the session, we want to talk about the advancements in computing, storage, and collaboration, and how these innovative solutions solve some of the real-world IT challenges that we're all facing. So, first of all, I'll do some introductions. John, the field CTO of Lenovo. I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen to John's keynote today, but that was an excellent keynote, John. Thank you very much. John's an expert generalist and more than 20 years of experience across the IT industry. Starting back in the Y2K, as a
lot of money catching.
Wow, love it. So John was the America's pre-sales platform technical lead, consulting with customers on server architecture, HCI solutions, and performance optimization, and data center strategy. And John is currently the technical lead and one of the founding directors of Lenovo's field C-suite, the business strategy team focused on digital transformation, design thinking, and application of smart technology. So welcome, John.
Thank you.
Bruce. So Bruce is the Senior Manager of Enterprise Storage Sales for Seagate. With over 25 years of experience in managing channel sales for Seagate technology, Bruce is a passionate and driven leader who delivers cost-effective and innovative solutions for the multi-cloud environment. Bruce holds a Six Sigma certification. I don't know if anybody got a chance to attend that Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma today, but this is very interesting stuff. And Bruce has a strong background in business strategy, storage area networks, and cloud backups. So again, welcome, Bruce. Welcome to the class. Florian. Man, this gentleman has he's what we call the consummate IT professional. Florence held positions in CGI, SoftChoice, Dell, Veeam, and now ultimately HPE, which just to name a few. Florence, sort of IT professional, is an IT professional and leader with an objective to help organizations grow and enhance its IT investments with new and innovative technologies. Welcome. Matt, I really struggled to find any kind of bio information on you, so I hope you don't mind, but I actually made up a couple of things. So, Matt is an avid West Bromwich Albion football fan. He loves the Montreal Canadiens, big Habs fan. Right, Matt? Yeah, and you'll find him usually at CF Montreal watching the amazing Montreal Football Club. So, no, but in all seriousness, Matt, I've worked with Matt quite over a number of years, and Matt has a great way to deal with both our customers, but also providing kind of internal support to QuadBridge, and Logi is also a great partner of ours. So welcome, guys. Welcome, all of you. Now I'm going to actually forget about that. That doesn't really. Now we try something interesting. So, new and innovative tech. We talk about new and innovative technology, exactly. These glasses are actually even reality glasses. They're essentially, they have ChatGPT built into them, they have a teleprompter built into them, and last but not least, they make you look a little bit smarter than they usually do. So, without any further ado, I'm going to ask John. John, can you share more about Lenovo's latest AI PCs and edge computing solutions? How do these innovative solutions support hybrid AI and fuel demand for AI-powered devices?
Yeah, so a couple of different things. I'll start with what I call endpoints, the AI PCs. So one of our things around hybrid AI is moving AI to where the data gets created and consumed. And one of the things that's happened in the past, if you wanted to run any kind of AI on an, what I'll call an endpoint, you really had one choice. You would buy a laptop or a workstation or a PC with an NVIDIA GPU in it to run it. What's happened is there's been a move to go to specialty ASICs. So there's this thing called an NPU. I'd love to talk with anybody about how we sizing architecture, but essentially what the NPU is, it is a custom-built ASIC designed specifically for inference capabilities. What that allows you to do is it allows you to start doing things like running small language models on a PC that's accelerated. It also allows you to start doing things like, right, today, anybody here using Copilot, right? Today you use Copilot, congratulations, all your information goes out to the cloud and comes back. Future development, Copilot is going to actually be able to be run on that NPU, leveraging the cycles of the NPU. So, and the advantage of that as a co-processor, as an accelerator, is that because it's running on a dedicated ASIC, it's going to reduce the amount of work that the CPU has to do. And that's really a big thing that we're seeing, right, is this concept of sort of the CPU is no longer really the CPU. The CPU is the traffic cop for moving data to systems that are pushing to the edge of the system. Whether we're talking about accelerated NICs, GPUs, dedicated accelerators, we're looking at CXL, some of these other new innovative technologies where the computer is actually moving into the subsystems. That's one thing. So that's why we're looking at these AI PCs, right? It's a way to give AI into that personal private data. The other piece we're doing is we've created these edge platforms. So everybody's real familiar with ChatGPT and all these other platforms, and those are great. Those run in a data center somewhere. But frankly, ChatGPT, it's really good at telling you something, but it doesn't actually do anything at the end of the day. So one of the things we looked at is let's innovate, let's reimagine what can AI look like outside of the data centers. Come out of the booth and we'll show you a couple of what these servers look like. But they're small enough, they look like a small switch. Some of them look like a couple of laptops stacked on top of each other with a dedicated GPU accelerator, NVIDIA, Qualcomm, AMD. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to run AI models outside of the data center in an environment that's a non-traditional data center environment. So for example, we work with the city of Barcelona. We put one of these platforms in basically a traffic control box that's sitting outside. Obviously it's not getting rained on, but it's in the elements. Right? And that's really because what they want to do is they want to do computer video, right? Intelligent video analytics. You don't want to send that over Wi-Fi. You don't want to send it over anything. So it's moving the AI out. So that's why we're investing in those kind of technologies.
And it's really built directly on the hardware at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. You're running AI right there.
Wow. Excellent. Next question, Flo. HPE has been making strides in AI-powered network automation and hybrid cloud solutions. Can you elaborate on how technologies are transforming IT efficiency and security?
Yeah, absolutely. I need those glasses. Hair like that. Yeah, so we've massively transformed the company. When I say we, not me, but it's a very big team effort. And we've taken a forefront access to the AI-driven everything, right? From machine learning, everything. I think we're all going to talk about a lot of AI. Being proactive at the network level is fundamental, right? Especially in today's threat. And what we're basically providing is guidance, right? So if I'm able to tell you ahead of time that you're going to encounter a problem, what's the value for you? If I'm able to tell you ahead of time, I'm suggesting displacement because of X, Y, Z, what's the value to you? And more importantly, what's the value to the organization, right? So essentially what we're trying to do on the networking side of things with Aruba Central is really provide guidance and removing the people of making decisions or trying to think about a problem without having 100% of the metrics. The information we have and we give guidance on it. And we're actually doing the same on the other piece of it, the hybrid cloud section of HPE with GreenLake, right? So what is GreenLake? You know? Fundamentally, it is a place where application, virtual machine, workload can reside on premises or in the cloud. And the beautiful part of it is integrated with AI and machine learning as well. So it allows, again, to say, this is a problem, you should fix it. And here's the suggestion that we are giving you in order to correct this behavior, which could have a drastic impact on the back end revenue for the company. Right? And that's the infrastructure side. Right? So I believe that what HPE has done is really shifting the way that we're moving our infrastructure and our IT requirement forward, right? By giving guidance and managing and learning from the data that is today existing. There is not a single infrastructure that exists that's capable of leveraging that data and giving you the right guidance, the right path, the right information to make the right decision.
Yeah, and I think Florian, giving customers kind of peace of mind in terms of that security posture as well, right? In terms of being able to keep that technology at the local or at the edge of their infrastructures.
That is the point I had missed. Thank you.
It's here.
And yeah, let me reprise my pitch. And so fundamentally, we're also, when you look at those two technologies, the Aruba technology and the Aruba Central and GreenLake and all the machine learning that it comes with it, those two, to your point, 100%, are fundamentally circling every security threat. They're ensuring that there is no misbehavior happening in the network. For example, an application that all of a sudden decides to knock on somebody else's door and never did it in the last 5 years, there's a problem. What's the problem? Is there a problem? How long it takes us to figure it out? With the right guidance, not a long time.
Excellent. Thank you. Bruce, so Seagate's breakthrough storage solutions are crucial for modern data demands, obviously. How is Seagate addressing the challenges of scaling and modernizing storage systems?
Yeah, so look, I've been with Seagate for 27 of 45 years with the company of Seagate, and innovation's always been part of our fabric. Right? We get asked questions by our great customers to my right about how we can solve their data problems, and now we've got another fundamental problem of how people are going to deal with the additional data that gets created with AI. And so we have two answers to that. One is, we're still going to develop this storage architecture of a spinning drive. That's not going to stop. The next generation in storage, a storage drive or hard drive, is what we call HAMR. So HAMR is heat-assisted magnetic recording. And so if that's not familiar to you, the easiest way to define that is, we're now going to use a laser to pre-write to the platter before we actually write down data. This is going to help aerial density. This is going to get us to 50 terabytes per platter. This is going to help us answer questions from these two gentlemen here where they're having problems with density and power and heat, and able to even go beyond that to 100 terabytes per platter. Because there's just a fundamental business issue. The cost to store data is expensive. Solid state, yeah, it has a path, but it doesn't have a current path to meet the same cost per terabyte that a rotating media can manage. So we're going to address that side of the conversation where our partners need devices to store more, but we also have another side of Seagate through an acquisition we did about 10, 12 years ago. And that was buying two companies, Xyratech and Dot Hill, that allowed us to do two things. One is help these partners here develop storage arrays to deploy to the customer base, and also allow Seagate to devise their own architectures and their own arrays to address the needs of the customers, be it a cloud solution, be it an AI solution. And just recently, at an NVIDIA conference, we demonstrated an NVMe hard drive to address the needs of AI GPU demands using technology that we did proof of concept. So we're always looking at how data is being challenged and how customers are struggling with what are they doing with the data they have today, what are they going to do with the data they're going to have tomorrow, how much pressure does this put on my whole storage fabric. And so we are able to answer the questions in two ways, or raw storage or full array solutions that accomplish the needs of the demands of what we're dealing with today. Is it AI, and what is it going to be 5 years from now? Because I'm sure that conversation is going to change. So we're in a pretty interesting position, and so that's why I've been at Seagate for 27 years.
And you seem to hold a lot of knowledge around that subject for sure, so thank you, Bruce. I remember back in the day when I first started in the industry, I was working for a small repair shop back in the UK, and there were MFM drives that were like 5 meg, you know, with a platter this kind of big. It's incredible to see how that has progressed so much. So thanks, Bruce. Matt, so Logitech or Logi, whichever is cooler.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah. Obviously, you guys are known for cutting-edge collaboration tools. What are some of the latest innovations from Logitech that are enhancing remote and hybrid work environments?
Yeah, definitely. So Logitech, I've been there for about 4 years now, and it's amazed me about how much innovation we keep pumping out year after year. Almost like one-upping ourselves, which is something hard to do. And even this year we did it again by releasing 2 new products that are a first for Logitech, stepping into new areas. But before I get into that, I think one of the most exciting things that I love being here is the innovations we do around our design language and engineering around sustainability. It's not just about the hardware using recycled plastics, but even future-proofing products to be continuously evolving to meet a lot of the new demands and where the collaboration industry is going. For example, our Logitech Sight camera, which came out 2 years ago, was the first companion 360 camera to be out in the market. And then last year we had a free upgrade for it that allows for now smart switching so that people can freely interact in the room and the camera will adjust to wherever the active speaker is, so the front of their face is always present. And then even this year we announced another upgrade by the end of the year being able to daisy chain 2 sites in a room, which expands that capability across even more environments. And talking about expanding to more environments is one of the products we launched this year as well, was a first for Logitech, is something called the Logitech Squat, which is actually a presence environmental sensor as well, which brings all the data analytics that you would have in a room that was fully kitted out with different technology, being now able to put into rooms where maybe there's no technology. But you want to be able to add those feature sets to enable smarter workplaces by adding auto book, auto release in rooms where maybe there's no technology or some relaxing areas, just so that you can add that full capabilities to your environment. So it's really exciting to see how we're stepping out and stepping into the technology field, but at the core of it, always figuring out how are people functioning as people in workplaces and making sure that we can create technology to allow not only the individual and the end users to access that data, or not data, but access that technology, but also on the back end and for IT and facilities to be able to manage that as well.
Yeah, I love the sort of Logitech experience where it's not difficult to use the technology, it's very intuitive, it works all the time. We have a number of Logitech collaboration units within the organization. We, just given the nature of COVID and that age, obviously it's been key for us to be able to adopt and roll that out to our end users and really enable the workforce that way. So, thanks, man. John. So this one is slightly off cuff, but you mentioned Broadcom today, and I really wanted to kind of understand. From your perspective, obviously Broadcom completed its $69 billion acquisition, I think it was, in 2023. How are companies navigating some of the industry challenges faced, and what are some of the key considerations to take into account from Lenovo's perspective, and when customers, I guess, are looking to modernize their IT infrastructure?
Wow, and you want me to answer that in 5 minutes? So let me kind of break it down into a couple different things. So from a Broadcom perspective, a lot of folks are just going to stay with Broadcom because it's the cost of change is high. But one of the things we've done is we have a platform called Think Agile, which is all of our hyper-converged and 3-tier qualified offerings, the big 3, right? Broadcom, Microsoft, pretty standard. Folks are either looking at doing one of 2 things. They are actively evaluating, and if you're not, I would encourage you to do it, period. They're actively evaluating based on, for example, hey, am I primarily a Windows shop? Am I using Azure? Okay, then I should be looking at Azure stacks. So folks that are doing that. Other folks that are looking at, you know what, we think we can continue to do hyper-converged. They're looking at moving hyper-converged. I was just having a conversation in the hall. I have a lot of folks that are coming back to me and saying, John, I want to look at external storage. I don't want to do vCenter anymore, it's too expensive. That's one of the ways that they're looking at it. Another way that they're looking at this is a lot of customers are now starting to look at application modernization, which is, does that really need to run in a virtual machine, or could that be in a container? Because once I move to a container, it's lighter weight, it's more portable. Now we're starting to talk about things like OpenShift, for example, right? SUSE Harvester, these platforms that allow you to run virtual machines and containers simultaneously. So if you run a container, it's much more portable than a VM. Every cloud has its own unique hypervisor, its own unique VM. A container is a container. And so that's really where we're seeing customers start to look at that. And we're actively working with customers to either evaluate, like I said, 5 minutes. It's usually a day-long workshop I work on with customers, where we're coming in and evaluating all those things. So it's evaluating new platforms, application rationalization to determine what they should keep, what they should get rid of, where they can modernize, moving to things like containers. We have our as-a-service model, which we call HP equals Unveiling. We call it TrueScale. That's another way where we're seeing people kind of roll that licensing cost in and also come back and reevaluate, do we really need this many cores? Could we do it with less? And I think the last thing that we're seeing and the last thing that we're working on is, we're starting to see some of these, for smaller deployments, do you really need even one of the big three? So we're seeing a big push for folks like Scale Computing, StoreMagic. They just released StoreMagic HCI with Proxmox. So it's these sort of, we'll call them non-mainstream hypervisor platforms for smaller deployments. That's really where we're seeing customers kind of look at making that potential break from Broadcom. And I talked about this in one of our things. If you don't have infrastructure modularity, creates physical flexibility. If you have no bargaining power because you're all in, you're beholden to whatever Broadcom wants you to do. If anybody hasn't been paying attention to the news for the last 24 months, Broadcom just said 72 cores is your minimum deployment. Expect prices to continue to go up and rules to continue to change.
No, and I encourage everybody to have deeper conversations around that. You actually did very well in the time you for that answer. Florent, so HP's recent advancements in AI and hybrid cloud are obviously noteworthy. Can you discuss the impact of these innovations and on enterprise IT and how they're helping businesses navigate beyond technical debt?
Absolutely. So the impact is clear is time, right? Time and money. Right? And we're lucky to leverage the AI platform or RI approach and machine learning in everything that we do. The value of that is, if you look, it's okay.
I think that's a 5-minute call.
I know,
Yeah.
it's okay, I'm not okay.
We've got time.
I think she's the same.
I have the
this
time
morning.
actually in my
I
glass.
went overtime and she was upset. She was like, yeah, so on the Aruba side, on the networking and the, when we're looking at GreenLake as well, the hybrid cloud is, we're fundamentally helping the organization. There is a lot of things that could be automated in a certain level, at a certain level, to release time and just stop doing things we've been doing for the last 20, 30 years manually all the time, the same way. This is 2025. Now we can do it in a very smart manner. We can learn, the code can learn what the behaviors are, right? And from a security perspective, we talk about behaviors, we talk about security, we talk about workload management, workload placement, and you feel this movement happening on the networking side, and you find it as well on the GreenLake side. Now, when we talk about GreenLake, what is the true value on the IT and the organization of GreenLake? It's clients that are in need of moving forward, but they need the time to move at their own pace. They cannot be rushed. Here's the problem. Most of us in the industry, what we've been doing is we've planned for something, we over-allocate, and then we're rushed to consume it because the time runs until the end of that contract. How can we shrink that?
Thanks, Brian. Bruce, with that said, the data kind of demand in terms of all of this information that's now being generated, how is Seagate kind of leveraging AI and other technologies to enhance kind of storage performance? How are you guys addressing that?
I thought I was going to get easy questions. I think that the first thing that we're looking at, I referred to it a second ago, is that project with NVIDIA, where we look to manage DPU straight to the GPU and skip the CPU in regards to managing AI data. So we're trying to break the Rubik's Cube of how data is managed today and listen to customers to how we address all of this aggregate and additional AI data that's coming out that a lot of people really don't understand how to clearly manage, right? The net for us is we're a completely different company than what people are used to seeing. Everybody thinks of us as making hard drives. And so we're much more than that. And you'll see that on our session tomorrow. But the smarter guys are sitting out in the crowd there. So they'll be able to help expand on how our storage infrastructure can manage the AI needs.
Matt, final question to you. So Logitech's collaboration tools are obviously essential for modern work environments. What are some of the latest features and technologies that Logitech has introduced to improve collaboration and productivity?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm the only one that hasn't said AI yet. So
You got 5 minutes for that.
and yeah,
Oh, you got 2 minutes.
I want to get on that train because I got to keep up with you guys. But yeah, usually when most people think of Logitech, they think of it as a hardware-led company, and they don't. It's always surprises too when we meet customers. We tell them we actually have more software engineers on staff than hardware engineers nowadays. And at the forefront, like you said, of all the experience, when we have conversations with customers, the majority of the time is spent talking about the software and the AI and how we're leveraging AI to enhance things like grid view, point on scale measuring, again, environmental sensoring, and as well things like adding new features like we're being collaborative with Microsoft Copilot or Gemini doing name tagging or voice recognition. But we're also on the Logitech side, being multi-platform supportive, is we're bringing that to our own in-house capabilities so that customers don't have to worry about deploying necessarily Copilot across every single room. Maybe there's some smaller areas where they want to have some of those features, but they don't want to buy all the extra bells and whistles for it. But they can in-house use a lot of those features on board on the Logitech devices, which is a great way to expand kind of capabilities and keep the experience the same for the individuals, no matter where they are in the environment. And I think a really great example of that is around our camera zone technology, which allows you to create a virtual perimeter for the camera to focus on. And we just enhanced that on another new product we just announced this year, which is available, is our Rallyboard 65, which is an all-in-one interactive collaboration board, which adds all the great DNA from our collaboration technology into a 65-inch board, which customers can use in flex spaces or, again, put it on the wall. But something I really love, again, is the enhancement to our digital or camera zoning technology, which we're changing the name a little bit to call it the digital cocoon. So after creating that digital zone, the camera and the technology knows who's in the space, will create them as active people, and anything outside of that zone will be treated, even from a visual perspective, can create a depth blur, it can be blurred out, even in an open space like this, but it goes beyond even just visual. Even on the audio side, any noise happening outside of that zone will be treated as white noise, so again, reduced so that the people within the zone can be equally heard, which of course is very exciting because it brings us all one step closer to the real cone of silence one day, hopefully.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, we're out of time, guys. Thank you for attending. I wanted to try and open it up to the audience, but obviously these gentlemen will be around. I encourage you to connect with them, and thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you.